Okay, welcome back. We are starting a new Mishnah. Hope you had a good Shabbos, restful, healthy, and I'm excited to start the next Mishnah. It's going to be the real topic. Okay, the last Mishnah, if you remember, we finished very simple about the difference between Makos and money, the punishment of Leiden Zeman, and the reason for the difference. Either logical, based on the pasuk. Okay. Before we start, I want to remind you that the worksheet is going to be similar to last time. We may finish the whole worksheet today, but if we don't, then even if you didn't fill out all the questions, turn it in. Turn it in to meet today's deadline, and then I'll return it back to you and change the deadline for the next day. This way I can mark down that you finished today's work, give it back to you. You'll finish the next day's work to finish the worksheet and then turn it back into me. So you won't turn it in late when I give it back to you. Again, being that the worksheet includes more than what we may finish today, fill in what we do today and turn it in with whatever you finish today. All I have to do is on the top right, when you finish, press turn it in. Okay, starting my timer to make sure I don't go over time. Okay. I also want to mention that we've been doing many recordings. I feel it's better. You guys will learn more without distractions, etc., just by watching the recording on your own time and your own pace. But tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to try doing a live class in addition to the recordings. That means there'll still be recordings. And we'll do a live class probably around 3:30. I'll post the time and the link. And this way you can ask questions to review. And if you finish all your questions, then we are going to go straight. We can have some fun together. We'll play a game or do something. We'll see. Okay, but it will be for review and to ask questions. Okay. So the next Mishnah, if you remember, I left off in the last video that we're going now to the discussion of Eidim Zayman. If you remember, in the beginning of the year, we discussed that in general, this whole category, and we came across this a week ago back in school, that the whole category is Eidus Sheker, false testimony, false witnesses. False witness means if in any way, based in, or the way Torah says, was able to prove that these witnesses said false testimony. They were lying. They weren't saying the truth. That's in general Eidei Sheker. There are many different types of Eidei Sheker. There were three general types to be discussed. I asked you to think about it, and I'll say them now. There's Eidim Muchashim, and in Eidim Muchashim, there's two different types, and then there's Eidim Zayman. Eidim Muchashim is how do we know that they're not saying the truth? Because Beis Din was able to find an inconsistency. Beis Din was able to find that they didn't collaborate. They didn't say the same thing. And that can happen in a few ways. We'll mention two general ways. One way is either in their own words. The Beis Din questions them. When Beis Din questions them, they ask them, what time did it happen? Or what day did it happen? And one witness says it happens Tuesday. And remember, they're questioning them separately. And the other witness says, no, it happened Wednesday. So right there, they're not saying the same thing. Beis Din says you're probably not saying the truth, and they're Eidei Sheker. That's one way. Then there's another way, where not even with what they said, but even when other witnesses come and say that something that they said was not true. They said that you guys said it did happen, we say it didn't happen. Whenever there's two witnesses against two witnesses, we don't know which one to believe over the other. Therefore, the Eidim Muchashim. So what is Eidim Zayman? So guys, those are two examples of Eidim Muchashim. Two examples of Eidim that are Eidei Sheker. What are Eidim Zayman? So Eidim Zayman are not when they contradict each other in their own words. For sure not. Eidim Zayman, guys, remember, has to do with another group of witnesses coming. That's what Eidim Zayman has to do with. So what is Eidim Zayman? What's this other group that Eidim Zayman has to, that came? So We just gave one example where they say one of the details that they said aren't true. But that's not Eidim Zayman. That's what our Mishnah is coming to discuss. What is the difference between Eidim Muchashim, the regular Eidim Sheker, and Eidim Zayman? The difference is, guys, we're going to see right away in the Mishnah, and you probably all know this already, but we're going to make it clear now. The difference is the second group of witnesses that came to disqualify the first group, what did they disqualify? There's two ways they can disqualify it. They can either disqualify something in the case, they can argue on a detail in the case, or they can argue on something about the actual witnesses. Regular Eidim Sheker, regular Eidim Muchashim, what are they disqualifying? They're coming and saying that it didn't happen on Tuesday, it happened on Wednesday. Or they're coming and saying, you didn't see it happen because we were there and it didn't happen. They're arguing on something in the actual case. Or they could even be saying that you said Reuven killed Shimon. It wasn't Reuven, it was Levi. So they're arguing about something in the case. Or they could say that you said Reuven killed Shimon. There couldn't have been Reuven because we saw Reuven somewhere else. Again, that's something in the case. That's not Eidim Zayman. What are Eidim Zayman? Eidim Zayman are how are they disqualified? When the second group comes and they don't argue about the case. They say it could be it happened. We have no idea. We weren't there. We have no idea. It could be it happened. But they tell Eidim Zayman, you guys definitely couldn't have been the ones to see it. You guys, they're not arguing about the case, not even arguing about Reuven or who killed Shimon, who killed. They're not arguing about the people either. They're arguing about the actual witnesses. They're talking about the witnesses only. And they're saying about the actual witnesses, you guys couldn't have seen it. I did that crack for you guys. The first time cracking on these videos. That you guys couldn't have seen it because you were not there. You were with us somewhere else. You were in Miami. You were in New York. You were in Los Angeles. So they're not arguing about the case. They're not arguing about the person that killed or the person that was killed. Reuven and Shimon, they're arguing about the actual witnesses. So again, what's the basic difference here between Eidim Muchashim and Eidim Zayman? Eidim Muchashim and Eidim Sheker is when they're arguing, when they're coming to speak about details on the case, or about the person that killed, or the person that was killed. Eidim Zayman is when they're talking about the second group comes, and how do they disqualify the first group? Not by talking about something in the case, not by talking about the person that killed or the person that was killed, but by talking about the actual witnesses, saying you guys couldn't have seen it because you were with us somewhere else. That is Eidim Zayman. Okay, we'll come back to that to review it, but let's go straight to the Mishnah inside. I'm going to share with you my screen. Welcome to LEC Virtual School. And I'm going to go to the classroom. You can see here, Gemara Review 2, Gemara Translation 2. It's going to be available soon. And here we go. We're up to the second Mishnah. Now, in the review, I'll go back to that. In the review, in the worksheets, you have the translation, the new translation. You guys, many of you filled out the first one very well, almost perfectly. Whoever did it. Here's the next Mishnah, okay? Next Mishnah and the beginning of the Gemara. And again, the worksheet the same. But we're going to go right back to PDF of the Gemara so we can read it inside. So let's see that. Says the Mishnah as follows. We're right here by the Mishnah. There we go. Ein ha'edim nasim zaymamin. The witnesses do not become zaymamin ad until shayazimu es atzman. They themselves were what was being spoken about. Shayazimu es atzman, the edim zaymamin argued on themselves. Atman, not on the case, not on the koirig, the person that killed, not on the netter, the person that was killed, but on themselves. Shayazimu es atzman, till the zaymamin, the other witnesses spoke about, argued on themselves. What does that mean? That's a statement. Ketzad, what does this mean? When would they be Zayman, when they would not? Amru, if they said, who said? The original witnesses came and said, Me'idin Anu. We are testifying, Be'ish Ploini, about a certain person. Shahar Ragas Anefesh, that he killed someone. We're testifying about Uvein, that he killed Shimon. Amru Lahem, another group of witnesses came and they said to the first group, Amru Lahem, they said to them, guys, listen closely, pay attention. What did they say? Heyach atamidim, how can you be testifying this? Why? What's the problem? Shaharei, because Neheragzeh, this person who you said was killed, Reuven killed Shimon. Shimon, or the person that you said killed, Reuven the killer, Haya Imanu was with us. Oisei Hayoim, that day, b'makom ploini, in a certain place. What are the second group testifying about? They're not arguing about the actual witnesses. They're saying the witnesses, you guys, we have no idea about you. But we do know about the person that killed or the person that was killed, either one. We know that one of them wasn't there the day that you're saying that they killed. They were with us somewhere else. So again, are these witnesses arguing about the actual witnesses? No, they're arguing about the case. So what's the halacha? Ein eilu zaymamin. These are not edim zaymamin. Because edim zaymamin is not when they argue about the case. That's edim machashel. That's edim shakar. That's not what the Torah was speaking about when it said edim zaymamin. So that case is not edim zaymamin. But amru, if they said amru lahem, they said to them. So again, we're going on the first case. We're not repeating that part. That they testified that Reuven killed Shimon. Now, Amru, the second group of witnesses came and they said, Amru lahem, they said to them, to the first group, hey, how can you be testifying? Shahadeh, because atem hayisim imanu. You, not the killer, not the person, you, the actual witnesses, hayisim imanu, were with us. Oise hayoim, that day, b'makom ploini, in another place. So again, what are they arguing about? Not the case, not the killer, not the person that was killed, but the actual edim, the actual witnesses. In this case, these are edim zaymin, the neheragim al pm, and they can be killed by the words of the second group of witnesses, the second pair of witnesses. These are the proper case of edim zaymin because they're not arguing about the case, rather they're arguing about the actual witnesses. Okay? So, before we continue, let's go straight to the worksheet. We're going to go back to the material, open the worksheet. You can always pause the video. And we're going to do the statement right here. Statement. The only way they become edim zaymamin, guys, what's the only way? When the second group argued about the actual witnesses. When the second group came to disqualify the actual witnesses. It's not the case, the actual witnesses. Okay, that's the statement. Now, what's the case? The Mishnah spells it out. Case one is when they don't become edim zaymamin. What is it? It's that when the first group, group one, testified that Reuven killed Shimon on Wednesday in Miami. The second group, group two, comes and says to the first group, how can you say that? Reuven, you said Reuven killed Shimon on Wednesday in Miami. On Wednesday, Reuven was with us in Los Angeles or in Israel, so it takes the full day, whatever, in Australia. Reuven is with us at that time and that day somewhere else. So they're not arguing about the witnesses, they're arguing about the people in the case. Okay, that's case one. In that case, they do not become zaymin. So again, the case is group one testified that Reuven killed Shimon on Wednesday in one place. Group two said nothing about the witnesses. They said that Reuven, you said he killed Shimon, or Shimon that was killed, one of them, they say, was with us somewhere else that day at that time. Okay, case two, when they do become edim zaymin. When do they become edim zaymin? If they testified about the actual witnesses, which is the same thing. Group one comes and says Reuven killed Shimon on Wednesday in this place, and this time. And group two comes to group one and says, no, you, the witnesses, you witnesses couldn't have seen that because you were with us at that time and that day somewhere else. Okay? Let's go back to the Mishnah. The Mishnah now introduces something new. something that we don't, this part we should have known already from discussing, this is basic Edom Zayman. But the Mishnah now is going to come and bring a machloikas about a new concept. Let's say, back to our case. What's the case? Group 1 comes and says, Reuven killed Shimon on Wednesday at this and this time and this place. Group 2 made the mezayim by saying that you, the witnesses, were with us somewhere else. Now, another group comes and says the same thing. Okay? I want to spell it out for you. So you don't, I'm going to go here. We're going to go into the Gemara. I'm going to open a new doc. This is like a screen in school. I can't use Active Inspire because it's hard to do Hebrew in Active Inspire. But I'll do it here. We'll make it big. We'll turn it into Hebrew. Let's make this big. And we're going to turn it into Hebrew. Okay, look. So we have Reuven and Shimon testifying about a case. Okay? Now, Levi and Yehuda are the ones that are making Reuven and Shimon. Levi and Yehuda are making Reuven and Shimon Zayman. Okay? So this is, we're going to call this, we're going to make a line, we're going to call this is group 1. Sorry. 1. Now, these are Reuven and Shimon are disqualifying. Group 1. Okay? So Levi and Yehuda are the ones coming to disqualify group 1. Reuven and Shimon were the first witnesses that came to Beis Din to testify about the case. Levi and Yehuda are disqualifying. Okay, so Levi and Yehuda disqualified them. After Levi and Yehuda disqualified them, guess what happened? A new group of witnesses came to Beis Din. Let's call them Yisachar and Zvulun. Yisachar and Zvulun came to Beis Din. And Yisachar and Zvulun, you know what they did? They literally went and said exactly the same thing that Reuven and Shimon said. Testified about the same case. Now Reuven and Shimon are already Zayman. Levi and Yehuda made them Zayman. 1 second. Now Yisachar and Zvulun are saying the same thing. So Levi and Yehuda, what they said to Reuven and Shimon, you couldn't have said this because you were with us somewhere else, right? You were with us in a different place at that time. Well, what about Yisachar and Zvulun? Now they said about this case. Yisachar didn't put the end there. Yisachar and Zvulun. So now, this is the person should be killed. It happened. Levi and Yehuda, they come, you know what they do? They come and they go and disqualify group 2 also. So let's add that. They also come, it's right after Yisachar and Zvulun come, they go and disqualify, we'll copy paste this, to disqualify group 2 as well. Okay? They come and they want to disqualify group 2 as well. So we have an interesting situation here. Let's try to bring this closer to each other. Because we have Reuven and Shimon that came and testified about the original case. Levi and Yehuda came and disqualified them. And then Yisachar and Zvulun came and said the same thing Reuven and Shimon said. And now Levi and Yehuda wanted to disqualify the second group. And the Mishnah even continues. The Mishnah says, let's say a third group came. Let's go more. Don, Naphtali, whatever, even more. Let's say there were 100. And Levi and Yehuda, each one came. Levi and Yehuda disqualified. Levi and Yehuda are like the disqualifying people. Okay? One group after another that comes, Levi and Yehuda says, you couldn't have said it, you were with us somewhere else. You couldn't have said it, you were with us somewhere. You couldn't have said it, each group they keep saying the same thing. Could they do it a million times? Do we believe the same group to do it so many times? That's the next discussion in the Mishnah. One opinion, the Tanakama in the Mishnah says, let's just remind myself, it's the Tanakama. So the Tanakama says that they can do it. Yeah, what's the problem? Just like the Torah says, we believe them the first time, we believe them the second, third, as many times as they say it. If any group comes now and the same people, Levi would say to the same group, you guys couldn't have been there because you were with us somewhere else, they made them Zayman. Comes Rabbi Yehuda. I think it's Rabbi Yehuda, yes. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no. Rabbi Yehuda says, are you kidding? Rabbi Yehuda says, istatis hizu. Istatis, we can say it comes from the word saita. This is like moving off the path, moving off the right track. Rabbi Yehuda says, there's no way we could believe Levi and Yehuda in all these groups. Why? Levi and Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says, Levi and Yehuda must have come to Beis Din with this thing in their mind. They're going to make sure, almost like we can say they came with a plan. They were hired, or you can say they're fake. They came with a plan that this case won't happen. No one will be found guilty in this case. And therefore, they decided that any grouping comes, they can very easily say, you're with us somewhere else. You're with us somewhere else. Every group that's coming, they're going to say you're with us somewhere else. We don't believe them, but if they said it about one group, okay, the Torah says we believe them. But if they go and say it about every group that comes now, we can't believe them. So many times over. They're fake. They're bluffing. That's what Rabbi Yehuda says. So Machlokes Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda, if we can believe them so many times. Now the Gemara is going to discuss the case, because all of you can think this is, you don't have to remember this, we'll see later in Gemara. The Gemara asks 1 second. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that we don't believe them about the other groups, we shouldn't believe them about the first group either. We do believe them about the first group according to them, but we're not going to get into that. The point is the Machlokes Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda, do we believe them about every group that comes if they do it 100 times? Okay, so now let's go back to the Mishnah and let's read that inside. Yeah, we're still open here. Let's read it inside. We are up to Bo. Okay, so we already know what Edom Zayman are when they testify about the actual case. Okay, so comes the Mishnah continues. Bo u'acherim, if another group of witnesses came, ve'zimum, and the same two witnesses made this group Zayman, and it continues. Bo u'acherim, another group came, ve'zimum, and they also made them Zayman. Afilu meya, even 100 groups. Tanakama says, kulam yehargu. All of them are killed. We believe the second group to make all these other groups Zayman. Rabbi Yehuda says, no. Istatisizu. This is a crooked thing. We'll translate istatis as crooked. This is a crooked thing. Okay? The only group that's killed is the first group. Only the first group is killed. Only the first group is killed. Okay? That's the only group that's killed. That's the machlokes. Okay, let's go back to our worksheet. And in the worksheet, we're up the statement. How many can one group make Zayman? The comment says a statement, as many groups as it is. One group can make 100 groups Zayman. Rabbi Yehuda says, with a reason, Rabbi Yehuda comes and says, no. You only believe them on the first group. All the following groups, you don't believe them, because if they do it to so many groups, Rabbi Yehuda says, they must be faking. They must have come to Beis Din with a crooked plan. They're not going to let this case pass. And anyone that comes, they're going to say there's that you were with us somewhere else. So we don't believe them. Okay? Fine. That's it. That's the end of the Mishnah. Now, we're not going to discuss the end of the Mishnah right now. What we're going to do right now is discuss the beginning of the Mishnah. And we're going to discuss the beginning of the Mishnah, where the Mishnah discuss what are Edom Zayman guys. Edom Zayman are when they were disqualified. How? Not by the second group arguing on details of the case, like the date, the time, or the person that was killed, or the person that killed. No, that's Edom Sheker. That's Edom Muchashim. What are Edom Zayman when the second group disqualified the actual witnesses, saying the actual witnesses were with us somewhere else? Now, how do we know that? How do we know that that's what Edom Zayman are? How do we know that? So there's going to be two opinions in the Gemara, and we're going to end off with that today. Very simple. The Gemara is going to say, how do we know that? There'll be two opinions in the Gemara where we learn that out from. Okay, let's go back to the Gemara. Let's read right away. The Gemara starts, from where do we know this? And from where do we know what? From where do we know the beginning of the Mishnah? That what are Edom Zayman? Not when details of the case were argued about, not when they disqualified details of the case. No, when they disqualified the actual witnesses, by saying the witnesses were with us somewhere else. How do we know that? So guys, if you remember, I showed you last time that on the side of the Gemara here, they're being whatever psukim are quoted, are brought here on the side. So if you look in the parasha of Edom Zayman, guys, in the Torah where it talks about, in Parashas Shoftim, the Torah says, we're going to look here, okay, at 4 on the side here. I just highlighted with my mouse. But Darsha Shoftim Hetiv, the judges will examine the case properly, and they will find that what? Look at the second line. V'hine eid sheker ha'eid. The witness is false. Sheker Anava Achiv, he testified falsely about his friend. That's the pasuk. Now, guys, look. The pasuk could have said this in two ways. The pasuk could have said, "V'in v'hine eidus sheker heid." What would that mean? Eidus sheker heid would be talking about not the person, would be talking about what he said. Eidus sheker would mean the pasuk is saying that he testified falsely. He said something wrong. The pasuk doesn't say that. What does the pasuk say? V'hine eid sheker ha'eid. The actual person, eid is going on the person. The actual person is false. Comes Ada and says, very good. I don't need to go anywhere else. Right here. What is the Torah saying? What is Eidim Zayman? Not when the Eidus, not when the testimony, not when what they said is false. No. It's not when what they said we find something wrong with, but when the actual person is false. Meaning when the second group testified about the actual witnesses that they couldn't have said it. They were with us somewhere else. So it's that the actual person, the actual witness is false, is bad. That's Ravada. Let's read it inside. Let's go into the Gemara. I highlighted it up to the Gemara. Oh, my Ravada, and Fret Ravada says, Oh, Markra, the pasuk says, the pasuk by Eidim Zayman. Remember, how do we know that Eidim Zayman is when it's about the actual witnesses? Because the pasuk says, Hine Eid Sheker Ha'eid. The actual witness is false. Sheker Ana, he spoke falsely. Not the testimony, not what he said is false. No, the actual aid, the actual witness is false. You learn from there, he explains it. Remember, this is not from the pasuk. He's now explaining until we find false the actual witness. Until the actual witness is found to be false. Not what he said, but the actual gufo shel edus, the actual body, the actual witness. That's Ravada's answer. Now, Tvei Rabbi Yishmael, they just say, we learned it out from a different pasuk, also a pasuk Beidim Zayim. Because guys, if you look on the side, let's go now to 5. See, Dvarim Yutes, the 4 that we just read, that's from Perik Yutes, pasuk Yudches. The next pasuk is just from a few pasukim earlier. Same place in Torah, Perik Yutes, pasuk Tazayin. And look where he learns it out from. Look what the pasuk says. It says, Ki yakum eid chamas beish. When a corrupt, chamas means corrupt, when a corrupt witness will get up about his friend, and what does it say? Lanis boy, lanis means to respond, to be oyna omein, aniyah, answer. Lanis boy, to speak about him, Sarah. Now, what does the word Sarah mean? Sarah, well, simply means, what it's saying here is that he spoke about him falsely. A corrupt witness got up and spoke about him falsely. He said bad testimony about him, meaning it wasn't true. But what does that actually mean? So I brought you the psukim. Look at my screen. You have here Merkava. Let's see. The Dvarim here in Sephira, they translated. Right here, guys. If two parties to the dispute shall appear, okay, wrong one, sorry, right here. If a man appears against another to testify maliciously, that's chamas, and gives false testimony against him. That's how they translate it. Now, where did they get it from? Sarah, what does Sarah mean against him? So Merkava gives a more literal translation. I was looking it up. To testify, okay, let's see Rashi. Look what Rashi says here. They don't do it here. It's Fire probably does it in English. So let's see Rashi. We'll go commentary. Rashi. Here. If a witness for violence rise up against a man to testify against him, i.e., a thing which does not exist at all. This term is used because this witness is far removed from having anything to do with the testimony. You see that? Why do we use the word Sarah here? The pasuk should have said that he spoke sheker, lanis by sheker. He said something false about him. No, the pasuk used the word Sarah. What's unique about the word Sarah, guys? Sorry, I'm clicking too much. What's unique about the word Sarah? So Rashi explains, because Sarah comes from the word husar, mesira. Mesira means to give over, but it means also to remove something away. And what does it mean, lanis be Sarah? He spoke something that's moved away. What's moved away? The witness is moved away. The witness is someone that should not be here. He is moved away from the case. He has nothing to do with the case. There's not that there's something wrong with the case, guys. No, the witness is moved away. There's something wrong with the witness. He is moved away from the case because he was not there. If you see, Rashi quotes it from Makos 5a, our Gemara. Hey, Amad Aleph. It's from our Gemara. This is Rashi and Chumash. So let's go back to our Gemara, and that's exactly Dvei Rabbi Yishmael's answer. So it's written in Tzfai. Sorry. Dvei Rabbi Yishmael Tana, Dvei Rabbi Yishmael taught. Dvei means like the Beis Medrash, the people of. Taught from a different pasuk. The pasuk says, Lana is boy Sarah, that he spoke about him Sarah. Sarah, we want Sarah to mean that he spoke about him false testimony. How does Sarah mean that? So Sarah, remember guys, comes from the word moving away. So that's how he explains that. Ad, guys, look. Ad shetisre gufa shel edus. Until the actual witness is moved away. Until the actual witness is moved away from the case. When are the Eidim Zoyimim? Not when there's something in the case wrong. No, the pasuk uses the word Sarah. You know what Sarah is teaching us? When the actual witness is moved away from the case. That's how we know they're Eidim Zoyimim. Okay, let's go to our worksheet. We have your question. The question of the Gemara is, Mili, from where do we know that these Eidim Zoyimim are specifically when what was disqualified, not details of the case, but the actual witnesses? So from where do we know that? So the first answer, Ravada's answer is from the pasuk, V'hine eid sheker ha'eid. It doesn't say eidus sheker. It says eid sheker ha'eid. The actual witness is false. Not what he said is false. Not eidus. What he said is false, but the actual witness is false. It comes from the word eid sheker ha'eid. Dvei Rabbi Yishmael, remember you can always pause the video. Dvei Rabbi Yishmael learned it from Lana is boy Sarah, that he spoke about him, something that's moved away. Why is it moved away, Sarah? Well, the pasuk uses the word Sarah because the actual witness is moved away from the case, like we saw in Rashi in the Chumash. You can always go back in the video to see the words. That he moved the witness away from the actual case. The witness was not supposed to be in this case because he never saw it. The witness became disqualified because what was disqualified about him, not a detail in the case, but the actual witness. Okay? Now review. What is the basic difference between Eidei Sheker and Zoyimim? We know that Eidei Sheker is about details in the case, whether it's the time, the date, or the actual people, meaning the person that killed or the person that was killed. Eidim Zoyimim is when it's the actual witnesses. Something is found false. Who's disqualified? The actual witnesses. Something about them. Okay. How many groups can one set of witnesses make? That's the end of the Mishnah. One set of witnesses can make Zoyimim. How many groups? So the Tanakama says as many groups. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no, only the first group. Why not the other ones? His reason, I should change that. I'll fix that. It's going to say his reason. I'll fix that right now. And the reason of the Tanakam, the reason of Rabbi Yehuda, he's the only one that says the reason. I want to fit on the lines. So, yeah. The reason is because he says that obviously they came in with a plan. The crooked witnesses. If they're making every group Zoyimim, they're obviously not saying the truth. They just don't want this case to go. Okay. Guys, that's it for today. We'll see you soon in the Sikha video. And like I said in the beginning, tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to make a half hour about where you can ask questions, review. I'll post the live link around 3:30, and we'll do something together. Yeah, remember when you fill it out, okay, we finished the thing today, so you don't have to worry. You finished the whole worksheet, and you turned it in, so I see you did it in time. Yeah, and you have these always to look back at to review for the tests next week. Okay. Have a good break.